Hey guys, Dr. Lauren here. Today's topic is super important, one of my favorites. We're talking all about gut health, which is something that I've struggled with, I would say, most of my life. The cards were pretty much stacked against me as a child. I just remember being super constipated, bloated, and just having all sorts of digestive issues that I thought were my norm and that I was told was my norm. At age 6, I'll never forget my mom bringing me to my pediatrician, and I just was not going to the bathroom that frequently, and them prescribing me to eat Fiber One cereal every morning and replacing just some of my other processed foods with more different processed foods. And suffice it to say, that was not the solution or the answer. My constipation continued. And then fast forward to my first most embarrassing moment, which I was 6 years old and like story time at school, and just remembering letting a big one rip and just like all the kids moving to the outer edges of the circle, just like I was Pumbaa and the Lion King in the middle, and just really feeling really self-conscious about my gut. And so this went on for years, and then fast forward to my teens and early 20s, and I was just really struggled with a lot of chronic dieting, eating disorders, etc. And my gut just went through the ringer. And I did all the diets, keto, vegan, paleo, South Beach, Atkins, like really whatever was popular at the time, all in efforts to try to heal my gut. And suffice all to say, like would always come up dry until I discovered these 10 healthy habits that I'm gonna talk about today. So love talking about the gut. It is the gateway to your health. Did you know 95% of your serotonin, your feel-good brain chemicals are in your gut? 70% of your immune system, which is like your defense mechanisms, are in your gut too. And a vast majority of your hormones, especially your estrogens, are produced and activated in your gut. So if you have any sort of hormone imbalances, a lot of times that can be related to the gut. So without further ado, let's talk about 10 healthy habits that have changed my life for my gut health, and that can hopefully help you too. Number 1 is just breathe, literally and figuratively. So breath and oxygen is super essential to cultivating an ecosystem that is hospitable to a healing environment, not an inflamed environment. And so our breath rate really can determine the amount of inflammation in our body. And so we can be sitting on a beach in Tahiti or just outside chilling out, but still be under stress if we're breathing more than say 4 to 7 breaths per minute at rest. And I really challenge you guys to time yourself in a minute. How many breaths are you taking? If it's more than that 4 to 7 breaths at rest, you're telling your body, Mayday, Mayday, I'm running from a bear. And so those signals from the brain to the gut are sent, and there's all sorts of, again, inflammation. It'd be kind of like poking a wasp nest. What would happen? All the wasps would fly out. You're disturbing the gut microbiome, the gut ecosystem. And so the literal and figurative just habit of breathing daily, so not only calming your breath rate at rest, but also just taking those breath breaks throughout the day, not stacking your schedule, super power packed, running from the next thing. That totally used to be my lifestyle. I was even that girl, no time to sleep in a day because I was just constantly on the go. Little did I know that really contributed to some gut unrest. Habit number 2, hydrate. Water is life. In fact, all of life begins in water when we're baking in our mother's womb. And so we need water, which is one of the number 1 essential nutrients for flushing toxins, pathogens, bacteria throughout our lymphatic system, throughout the body, as well as actually absorbing and digesting foods. In fact, the only time you really don't want to drink a lot of water is actually at mealtime, so your body and digestion can work a bit harder and stronger. But otherwise, outside of those times, at mealtimes, you want to include about half your body weight in ounces of water daily, that as a bare minimum. So for example, if you weigh 140 pounds, that'd be about 70 ounces of water, a little bit over 8 cups a day, which is the general guidelines and recommendations out there that you may see on the interwebs. But aim for that half your body weight in ounces of water. One of my favorite ways to start the day is 16 to 20 ounces of warm lemon water in the morning to just really help with boosting digestion and getting my digestion actually ready to work for the day. Also on the water thing, make sure you're drinking out of a stainless steel or glass water bottle or cup. So plastics and a lot of plastic water bottles contain what we call xenoestrogens or BPAs, that can disturb hormonal imbalance for one, as well as your gut ecosphere. And so really try to avoid plastics and drink out of stainless steel or glass. Number 3, boost absorption. So we all have digestive mechanisms or superpowers, including your stomach acid, digestive enzymes, your liver and gallbladder that help with breaking down food. I call these your mechanics because it'd be kind of like a mechanic working on a car, making sure that everything's working appropriately on the car. All these little pieces make sure that digestion's working appropriately. So to boost absorption or your digestive mechanics, you'd want to do things like taking a shot of apple cider vinegar in water, diluted in water with meal times, and or taking 1 to 2 digestive enzymes at meals, especially if you struggle with bloating. These were game changing when I first discovered what digestive enzymes were. I was the classic Tum popper before, constantly popping Tums after meals to make my gut feel better. But when I started taking enzymes, it really helps with some of the bloating. You can also take things called digestive bitters, which are found in like tincture form or some in capsule form as well, that specifically support your gallbladder to help with breaking down carbs and fats even more, as well as helping you poop daily. Nourish your gut bugs. So talking all about food. There's so many diets out there that are claiming to heal your gut in say 30 days, etc. Like I said, tried them all. Paleo, vegan, carnivore, whatever is really popular at the time, really to try to heal my gut. And I would say like these diets can be effective and productive for a degree for a certain time, but they're not meant to be long-term. A lot of times the reason why restrictive diets are suggested is because they're helping in a way suppress symptoms. They can modify the gut ecosphere. We definitely want to be eating real food, not necessarily like Cheetos, Doritos, Pop-Tarts, pizza, etc. But eating real whole foods, the goal should be abundance with your diet versus restriction, because a healthy microbiome thrives off abundance. We want an abundant and diverse microbiome, and the only way we can create that is through a diverse diet. And so it's really a message that not many of these diet books are sharing with you. So while some short-term diets can be effective for helping reshift the gut ecosphere, if we stay on them for too long, they can become counterproductive. So eating with an abundance mindset and eating a variety of nutrient-dense foods, which would include all the macronutrients, sustainable proteins, colorful fruits and veggies, healthy fats, and then things like bone broths and some fermented foods can all be part of a really healthy gut ecosphere. And a really good sign of that your gut is healing is just the ability to tolerate more real nutrient-dense foods. Food intolerances is a whole nother topic and something that I definitely address in my clinic with my patients, because there are certain foods that people are going to be intolerant to, especially if you have autoimmunity, such as celiac disease or Crohn's disease, autoimmunity of the gut, lactose intolerance, etc. So don't discount those at all. But I'm really talking about nutrient-dense, whole real foods. A lot of the foods that you'd find at, say, the farmer's market, or if you were living in ancestral times, is really what are gonna help feed a healthy, thriving microbiome. Also on the food front, I just wanna mention like some really simple ways to think about eating your foods would be like to template out your meal. So for example, at breakfast time, I usually start the day off with, I call it a gut love shake. And I use a beef isolate protein powder, a little bit of fruit, maybe some berries or half a banana. I love using pecan butter at the moment. It's lower in lectin, so it feels better in my tummy. And then you could do that blended with some coconut milk or just water, especially if you don't have a huge appetite in the morning. And if you do have a big appetite, I just like to say, like, use protein and vegetables, never go out of style. There's so many different vegetables out there and different ways you can cook them. So just like flash cooking them, sauteing them in ghee with sea salt, super delicious. You can do anything from Brussels sprouts to butternut squash. Always throw in some green there. Maybe add some leftover chicken thighs or some eggs. And half an avocado. You'll find avocados in a lot of my meals. I love it. Also, you could do topical things like coconut butter. And then for lunches and dinners, they're pretty templated as well, meaning there's gonna be a protein, there's gonna be 1 to 2 colors at least, usually something green, and then 2, maybe 3 healthy fats in there. My gut love bowls, which would be like using some winter squash, a protein source, something green, and again, more avocado. But that's an idea for templated type of meals. Number 5 is Detox Daily. So we live in a toxic world, And it is just kind of not, it's the rule, not the exception nowadays, that we do need to do things to mitigate whether it's the toxins that we're ingesting, like glyphosates and pesticides in our food supply, even some organic foods. We really want to aim for most organic as possible, but not all organic are created equal, especially if it's in a box on a shelf. Other things for detoxing daily, infrared sauna has become like water to my soul, something that I discovered when I was going through my mold detox journey, but helping just support my detox pathways and my lymphatic system and cleansing channels. You have a total of 7 different cleansing channels in your body. So those would be like your liver, your gallbladder that work together, your colon, which excretes poo out, your skin, and then your lymphatic system, which helps with fluids in your body, your circulatory system, and your kidneys, so excreting through your urine. But all these channels are really essential for helping cleanse. So there's definitely practices such as infrared sauna, dry brushing, and even some like homeopathic tinctures that I will take. You can also consider drinking like dandelion tea or milk thistle tea, or taking those things to support drainage as well as supporting Detox Daily. As well as lastly, mitigating like just toxins in our environment. So there's definitely ways we can shield or offload some of that toxic exposure. So things like buying organic, sustainable type of products, health and hygiene products, instead of using the toxic makeup like at Sephora, for example. I love a brand called Well People, and my skin feels amazing for makeup. Go to ewg.org to find some of the less toxic products out there. And then there's another database called Skin Deep you could check out as well. Number 6 is beauty sleep. And so definitely a habit that I just negated. Sleep is a nutrient, just like water is a nutrient, just like green things are a nutrient, and bone broth. And so when we're not sleeping, over time that creates inflammation. The gut and the brain are directly connected. So the inflammation and stress that's created through the HPA axis located in your brain, i.e. cortisol, then can upregulate inflammation throughout the body, sending those signals from the brain to the gut. So direct connection there. So when we're undersleeping, it again is like poking that wasp nest for the gut ecosphere, and it really disturbs the health and the balance there. So aiming for 7 to 9 hours of sleep on a nightly basis, and really fighting for that quality sleep. And some ways to up-level your sleep hygiene that have been game changers in my own life include sleeping in a cool room, 68 degrees or below, pitch black. If you can't pitch black your room, use an eye mask that covers your eyes. And then creating a bedtime routine. Instead of like just going from computer to bed, or from TV to bed, or falling asleep on the couch watching TV, for example, just like a little kid needs a bedtime routine and just winds down a lot better that way. We as adults need that too. We're not an exception to that. And so I love taking a warm shower at night, and then reading a little bit, meditating a little bit, saying my prayers, etc. And so really encourage you to find a bedtime routine that helps you wind down. Number 7 gut love habit would be movement. And so I eat exercise, but I do like to use the word movement because your body was made to move, not exercise. Your body doesn't know the difference in lifting a heavy log 10 times versus lifting a heavy barbell 10 times. And so thinking more from an ancestral perspective, our ancestors did have thriving, healthier gut ecospheres and just really no signs of chronic illness that we have today. If we can aim to move more just ancestrally in our daily lives, I really have found that to be a huge game changer for my own gut health. This coming from a girl that actually used to work out 6 to 8 hours in the gym, just feeling like I needed to push my body to that limit, really had aspirations for being like fitness model and all just like competing on stage, etc. And just realizing I was just wrecking my gut more. And so by bringing more balance into my days, I do incorporate a variety of movements. So there's definitely strength and HIIT are probably my favorite things, but also do not negate things like walking and hiking, daily yoga, and even fun things. The challenge I have for myself every week is just to try something new, whether it's going to a different class that I've never gone to before, or going on a different trail, exploring something new, or taking my dumbbells out to the park and doing a fun HIIT style workout out there. Number 8, connect. Humans are nutrients. Having people in our lives just really help uplift the soul and the body, decrease inflammation in the brain, which then decreases inflammation in the gut. Did you know we are some of the 5 people we hang out most with? Well, a big reason why is because we also embody those people's gut microbiome. So those that we spend the most time with, studies show that gut microbiomes tend to be very similar. So birds of a feather really do flock together. As you embrace and continue to pursue a healthier lifestyle, you are also lifting others up and hopefully also just attracting that energy and that light. We saw this a ton during the 2020 pandemic as well, just how much that affected people's health, not only mentally, but actually physically, just from the isolations of the quarantines, etc., that caused so much unrest in the human soul and health. And so humans really are nutrients. So aiming to include or just incorporate people's social connections into your daily life and making that an essential is definitely been super helpful for my own gut healing journey. Number 9 would just be up-leveling your mindset. So did you know that 80% of your thoughts that you have on a daily basis are repeat or negative thoughts? I'll repeat that. 80% of your thoughts that you have on a daily basis are repeat or negative thoughts, meaning you've definitely had them before, or they're just perhaps negative and not true. And so if there's this brain-gut connection, which there is through the vagus nerve, and there's a lot of stress going on in the brain, what do you think happens to the gut ecosphere as well? One of my favorite studies on this actually connection between the brain and the gut is called the milkshake study. And so researchers took 2 groups of people and they gave them 2 different milkshakes. One group got the indulgent milkshake, a 600-calorie shake. The other got the sensible shake, a 140-calorie shake. In reality, this shake had the exact same number of calories. However, the groups did not know that. Well, by the end of the study, what do you think happened to the metabolisms of these 2 folks and the gut health of these 2 folks? So the people that drank the indulgent shake, actually, their metabolisms were more just relaxed, chilled out. They weren't as hungry after drinking it. They felt just really nourished actually by the shake. They had definitely indulged, but they didn't feel guilty for it for one, and their body and their metabolism responded appropriately. However, those that drank the sensible shake, the 140-calorie shake, they're about 3 times more hungry than those that had drank the indulgent shake, and their gut just did not feel as nourished. Again, both groups drank the exact same milkshake with the exact same number of calories, really showing and reflecting how much merit and weight our brain has on our gut, in our digestion and our metabolism. And so don't discount that. And definitely just remember, we are what we feed our mind, just like we are what we eat. If you eat a bunch of Doritos and say sodas, Slurpees, etc., you're gonna feel like Doritos and Slurpees. So if you feed yourself a bunch of trash reality TV, a ton of social media scrolling, a lot of comparison, etc., we're gonna feel that way. As opposed to like if we do feed ourselves more what I would call growth mindset nourishment. So really seeking not only through books and podcasts, music, etc., the things that we put in our mind, but also the experiences and the people we surround ourselves with, we are gonna feel that energy as well. And that effect will show up greatly in how we feel internally. Lastly, 80-20 balance. This is one of my favorite habits of all. And so 80% of the time, eat real, whole, nourishing foods. 80% of the time, do things that really are healthy habits for your gut microbiome. 20% of the time, let life happen. In other words, no perfection. When in Rome, try the pasta. On your birthday, eat some cake. Just really feel free to live your life, go on vacations, and just enjoy, even on a daily basis. A challenge I'll give to my patients is incorporate 1 to 2 gut love treats a day. And those gut love treats can look completely different. For some, it is a little bit of a dessert after dinner. For others, it may just be breaking up with the rules they've had for themselves, say around carbs, for example, and giving themselves permission to eat the sweet potato, or giving themselves permission to eat a food that maybe not 100% clean. Maybe it has a little bit of stevia in it and they've really not even had like protein powders with that in it, etc. So again, that 80-20 can look different, and we don't even have to just talk about food. We can talk about that with workouts too. So going 100% hard every single day, 7 days a week, is only gonna run your body into the ground more. We need that yin and that yang, and the body really thrives and recovers, and the gut really thrives and recovers with that yin and the yang. So a little dirt never hurt is really the name of the game. So those are my 10 healthy gut love habits that have really changed my gut from the inside out. And just really remember, healing is definitely a journey. It's not a destination. These have been things that I have been working on for many years. When I discovered these insights, which hopefully I can save you lots of years in the long run, from those 20 plus something years that I went without knowing this knowledge. And so really here's to gut love. And remember, health is an inside job. And when given the right tools, your body innately wants to heal itself.